All right, folks, we got a fun one today. Much to Dan's chagrin, Edge is in All Elite Wrestling. We're going to get into that, and the Divas title is going to be on the line this week on Wrestling with the Business.
We're ready. It's episode 26, WWB. We got Jeremy, we got Matt, we got myself. We're going to go over the XFL merger with the USFL. I got it right. And we're going to talk about Adam Copeland, not Edge. We're no longer referring to him as Edge. Signing with AEW.
The wrestler formerly known as Edge?
I don't want to hear the word Edge. It's done. Okay.
You sound like you're really on. You know what I mean.
We're going to talk about our predictions for Fastlane.
You're going to be on the edge of your seats today.
Yeah.
We can reference Edge in different terms, but not towards Adam Copeland. It's done.
Dan's really on the Adam Copeland of this conversation.
Let's jump into XFL USFL merger. What do we have on that?
They're hurting. They need it.
They both are, really.
USFL's doing better than the XFL, though.
Oh, I'm
True.
sure.
Oh, that's for sure. But really, any of them really, like, it's spring football. It's always going to be hard for any of those to really take off the map.
This is The Rock bought XFL, right?
Yep.
That's his baby. And as soon as he bought it, it looked like things were going to go through the roof, and then COVID hit, right? And it shut it down.
No. Vince started it.
Vince started it
Vince
before
brought
COVID.
it back.
And it was going well in March, right?
I remember watching
and
a couple
COVID
games.
hit, and they had to stop.
And then
it just screwed
Rock
everything
bought
up.
it a couple years
Actually,
ago.
one of our first shows, we talked about the rule changes
Right.
that XFL was
But
doing.
XFL just did a whole season
Yeah.
under Rock's.
And
Under the
nobody-
Rock.
Under the
nobody
Rock,
ran
yeah.
about
I
it.
think, I truly think, obviously COVID has put a lot of things, down. But I think the XFL really, I think it would have done better. Obviously, if there was no COVID, I think XFL would have done well. I just didn't take off, and COVID killed it. And Vince, the whole marketing concept, the new logo, everything they were doing when XFL first took off the second time with Vince, it was doing very good. Like the first, I think they got like 4 weeks in. What was COVID?
Well, it was only like an 8-week season or something.
Okay, COVID was like March 20th was when everything kind of closed down. So I think they got
2020,
like 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, and then they shut it all down. They never reopened. And done. Bankruptcy filed, done. I think The Rock bought it for just a couple million, I think.
Yeah, it was cheap.
It was like nothing. It was like pennies on the dollar. And I think there's a little backdoor deal going on there between Vince and The Rock. I mean, come on. It was owned by Vince. Rock buys it. There's got to be a little bit of
doing somebody a favor.
But and now, I don't know what, I don't know, like, did they come out with any, like, information on the merger?
So
Specific information?
it's still in early plans
Talks,
from
right? Yeah.
what
Clearly, they want to expand the number of teams that they have.
now it's not going to load on my tablet, so
Clearly, they want to expand.
Well,
the
the
number of
reality
teams
is,
they have.
it's hard to do a spring football league, not to mention two of them at the same time. So I think it makes sense to just merge them all together. Now, if they were smart, my opinion, they keep the XFL name over the USFL, but they probably won't.
USFL is on Access, right? Isn't it on Access TV?
I have no
think
idea.
I see it advertised whenever I watch Impact. I think that they.
And
they advertise
that's
on
been going on for a while, right?
Yeah.
I think that's been going on for a couple of years.
They have a little bit more. So let me
Founded in
just-
2021, so I take that back.
And so 8 teams in the XFL: Arlington, Houston, Las Vegas, Orlando, San Antonio, Seattle, St. Louis, and Washington, D.C. And then you have the USFL, which I'm just looking right here to see if I can see. Yeah, there's nothing listed about the cities or anything like that. But Fox Sports and NBC Sports are official media partners, presenting their 43 regular and postseason games for the 8-team league that plays in Canton, Ohio, Birmingham, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee, and Detroit.
So the USFL is owned by Fox. So National Spring Football League Enterprises Company LLC, which is highlighted as Fox Corporation. So I don't know. Fox owns it.
They're not going to keep all those teams. Why would you have a team in Canton, Ohio, Birmingham, Alabama? You could make it a small team league. That could be interesting. That could be an interesting
Fox
thing,
Sports owns it. So
But when you've already got teams in Houston, D.C., Seattle, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Las Vegas is becoming a football town, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since the Raiders went there, yeah, I think they're probably going to trim it down, maybe add 4 teams to the league, and I'm not sure what it's going to do to the fan base, but I don't know. Interesting note.
All right, so moving on from that, apparently Matt Riddle not doing so hot. There's another allegation of some misconduct with him that came out this week from an incident back in 2016, it looks like.
Big shocker there. Yeah, he's still posting pictures of himself with his girlfriend all over.
Yeah, so when asked to comment, it looks like he's obviously he's playing down the incident. Said it wasn't even an incident. Okay, let me read this for a second here.
He's doing a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff.
Now, do we
Okay, so apparently he went into a women's locker room to change, and a female independent wrestler had an issue with that. Probably should have read this ahead of time.
Now, do we think he's going to AEW too?
No,
I don't think so. I think he's getting back into MMA or, like you said, the jiu-jitsu.
he's posting a lot of MMA, jiu-jitsu stuff, and I think he's still like kind of riding off of his, like he's doing a lot. I see a lot of advertising for like, oh yeah, come do a seminar for no gi, a no gi seminar with Matt Riddle and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, if he's smart, he'll stay away from wrestling because Impact would take him, but they can't afford him. So,
Right.
But yeah, AEW, this CM Punk thing, dude, it's got them so gun shy. I bet for any kind of risk, a guy like Matt Riddle, no way. They won't waste money on
They've
him.
learned their lesson, or have they? We'll see.
No, they're not gonna do that.
All right, moving on to something better here. NXT. So AEW Dynamite is going to be on Tuesday next week because of a baseball game on Wednesday. And NXT is already stacking the card to steal the ratings from them.
John Cena, Cody Rhodes, who else?
Paul Heyman, Asuka.
Judgment Day is probably going to be
Becky
there.
Lynch.
Becky Lynch is still their champ. So,
Yeah.
yeah, big.
But why wouldn't they do that? I mean,
Sure.
it'd be no, as I just said earlier, it'd be no different if SmackDown had to go on a Wednesday night.
Do it because they're afraid.
Right. They
know
still say AEW isn't competition, but clearly
Okay,
they think otherwise.
any common sense wrestling person knows that NXT. Do they really think NXT is a more premier brand than AEW Dynamite? I mean, we all know it's not.
Well, okay.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, you talk about the ratings though. We'll
rating-
mention Collision next. I mean, they went up against NXT No Mercy this past Saturday, and they dropped to their lowest ratings of 327,000
For Collision.
for Collision. Whereas last week's NXT, this week's NXT, sorry, was the post No Mercy show was up over 800,000, I believe.
So, NXT beat Dynamite this week.
Yep.
857,000 viewers to 800,000. But Dynamite beat him pretty bad in the demographic. It was like 0.22 to 0.28 or 0.29. So they beat him pretty hard in the demographic. That's a pretty. It doesn't seem like much, but that's a pretty big.
I just don't get it.
demographic
I
difference.
really just don't get it. But
I mean, I think it comes down to just WWE still has that
must be.
that visibility, that name recognition.
They're flexing their muscles a little bit. Look, we
I
can
think
move
they're weak
anybody anywhere.
talent-wise myself, but
They are destroying the brand split. We haven't talked about that in a few weeks.
Oh,
but
yeah.
They are annihilating. I mean,
They've already announced that SmackDown tonight is going to have Raw superstars before Fastlane.
We complained when the draft took place. That was our biggest bitch that entire time. For weeks, we went on about how the brand splits, you're not actually going to do it. They've totally done away, and I think that's the doing of, I think that's something AEW did. Because they had a soft split, which has now basically gone away ever since CM Punk left. And I think WWE is following their lead now, and they've completely evaporated any kind of
Who's
brand
back
split
in
that's
charge?
occurred.
Vince.
I don't effing know.
Exactly.
Dude.
So there goes. So look at the timeline. Vince took over a couple of weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, a month ago. Now everyone's just going ping-ponging back and forth.
I think Triple
the
H.
structure is gone.
So if you think about Triple H is the one that said that AEW was a second-rate, non-competitive, whatever however he worded it. I think he said second tier or something.
I'm sure
like that.
Vince said that at some point too.
But
that
what
they're
I'm
not
thinking is
competition.
Vince is like, you can't say that and then get beat. So we are dumping everything into this. We're putting John Cena on the screen. We're putting Judgment Day on the screen. We'll put freaking Roman Reigns on there if we have to.
See, I get maybe it's just me. I guess I disagree with that a little bit in the sense of if it was Raw or SmackDown, I agree. But NXT, I mean, Dynamite should be blowing NXT out of the water.
No, because
I mean, to me, it's not. They're not even close.
for the last couple of months,
I get what they've been actually doing, but
they've
I'm
been
just saying.
putting guys in. They gave Dom the NA championship. So Judgment Day started appearing on there, and the ratings started to respond. And they
Giving
were up,
Becky the title.
They were up over 650. They give Becky the title. Now they're doing 850. It makes you think maybe they can actually compete with Dynamite if the week before. So how do you respond if you're Vince McMahon and you're actually within spitting distance? You're not going to lose this fight. You're going to throw everything you can. And now, and AEW is responding because they're calling it. What do they call it? Tuesday. What are they calling it?
Title Tuesday.
Title Tuesday.
Yeah.
So they're putting all these titles on the line. I mean, this is harkening back to the Monday Night
Can
Wars.
I ask a question?
This is cool.
Can I ask a question? This is for Matt. Why does every episode have a name to it? I feel, but see, that's part of the issue where it's
Once
just
a month or
just
so,
do Dynamite. Leave it. Like it's just confusing.
When they're only doing quarterly pay-per-views, they make certain episodes special. And yeah, they were only doing it like
they're really
once a
only doing
month,
one
but
pay-per-view quarterly.
Yeah. They only
Yeah, I
had
thought-
4
I
pay-per-views
thought they were doing
up
more than
until
that.
this year.
Really, AEW?
Yeah.
It's 7 or
Oh.
8 this year, right? 7 or 8.
7, I think.
You know, the other thing is that
I thought
it's
they were doing more than that.
if you're an AEW fan and you don't, I'm sorry, if you're catering to the AEW fan, and which isn't nearly as broad a fan base as WWE has, getting people to tune in on Tuesday, that's tricky. When Wednesday is part of their routine, getting them to tune in on Tuesday, that's tough. And so you got to offer them something.
They're definitely going to. They're probably AEW is going to lose the battle no matter what because they're already going to lose people just going to Tuesday.
Something's going to happen.
Some people aren't
Right.
going to know about it. Go on Wednesday to watch. It's not going to be on, so they'll probably slash 100,000 right off of that. There'll be people who just don't know that's on a different day.
I'll make a
You know.
prediction
There
here.
was actually, before you say that, there was actually a screw-up in the scheduling on TBS's side saying this week's show and next week's show was starting at like 4 o'clock or something when it wasn't. So there's already people
Oh.
getting confused and everything.
Yeah, and isn't Dynamite starting early, like at 7 o'clock or something next week?
No, Collision.
It's Collision that's
next
starting
week
early.
is
That's
starting
right,
at 7. Yeah.
So yeah, they're doing some weird stuff with the timing. I'll predict this on Tuesday night show. Something big is going to happen in the opening.
Yeah.
They're going to do something to try to get attention and pull attention away.
AEW?
The
Yeah, they're
the
gonna do
international title match is
classic.
going to be Phoenix versus Moxley, so likely Moxley's getting the belt back.
They're going to do something to try to pull ratings away from NXT because they know they're not going to have them out of the gate. They're going to try and do so. There's going to be something.
But I've never understood what that really. What you know? I've never understood that tactic though. So let's say Moxley wins the belt. Well, he's done for the show. What's Tony Over going to do?
No,
It's over.
no.
He's moved on. He's done for the night.
Well, no, having a belt change hands is important, which is the first thing I was going to predict was you have to have a couple of belts change hands, otherwise Title Tuesday my ass. But I think you have to, not that, it would have to be something big and not. Giving the belt to Moxley, nah, it's not big. You're
Dolph
gonna have to
Ziggler
see
debuts.
a premiere, someone's going to have to show up, premiere
No.
with a match that night. I'm Dolph Ziggler and I'm coming after MJF's
That
title
could cause me to watch.
at the
If
main
Dolph
event.
I've
And then
never
you see that on Twitter and you go, fuck.
Dolph
turn it over.
Ziggler showing up at the beginning of the episode. He could be back later at the episode to do something. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
something happened like that. I just, I've never understood that tactic of a belt change at the beginning of the show, and everyone's like, oh, we
No,
gotta
no,
go
it
live.
won't
Well,
be
they're
a
done.
belt
They
change.
wrestle.
Yeah,
It's
you're
over.
right. That's the pop. No, you're not going to do that. They're going to tease something, and you're going to see the same thing in NXT. Cody Rhodes is going to come out and go after somebody for the belt.
Yeah,
gonna
he's
call
just
out
doing-
whoever.
he's just
Carmelo
being-
Hayes or whoever.
He's just being advertised as making an announcement or something, right?
I don't understand all the time changes. I mean, I get the baseball, but like Collision going is it baseball too on
I
Saturday?
don't know. It's just going an hour earlier, so I don't know what the reason is.
Cena will be in the corner of Carmelo Hayes as WWE runs back a WrestleMania weekend banger, pitting Carmelo Hayes against Braun Breaker, which will be a good match.
And Paul Heyman will be in Braun Breaker's corner, too.
So, I mean, yeah, Asuka,
She's the only one wrestling.
They're dumping, they're putting every single big, bright, shiny face they can in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm. So who do you think is winning out the ratings then?
No, NXT for sure.
Think so?
You think it's going to be a blowout, or it's going to be close?
Dynamite's walking in with a disadvantage already. They're going to lose a bunch of people just thinking it's on. There's going to be a bunch of people that just forget that it's not on Wednesday, and they're just going to tune in on Wednesday and go, "Oh shit, it's not on."
And
Right.
I think
it's too late at that point.
You are going to pull people that normally might only watch Friday or normally might only watch Monday to tune in on Tuesday. I think it's going to be I think they're going to do like 1 million on NXT. Yeah, AEW is going to do just fine. 900. They could easily do 900,000.
Oh, I don't think it'll be that high.
Which would be a really good week for them.
I think they'll be around 650, somewhere in that range.
Who, NXT?
650.
No,
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
You think they're going to dip to 650?
I think it's possible.
I think they'll hold. They'll at least hold.
Nothing ever comes good from changing nights. I'm sorry.
No, there's true.
There's nothing good comes from that. They're gonna have a horrible rating on that day. I'm sorry. Maybe I want to go 650. Maybe 700s. 650 could be right on tap.
So sticking with AEW, this past weekend was WrestleDream, which we'll be covering at length on our Falls Count Anywhere episode. So be sure to watch that. But really quick, no spoilers. But I mean, what'd you think of the show overall?
I thought it was a banger. I did not get it, but I watched the highlights from it. Really cool. Definitely have a couple questions for you because you watched the whole show, right? All right. So I have a couple questions for you when we get to Falls Count Anywhere. But I don't think it was the best pay-per-view of the year, but it was top 2, top 3 for sure. It was
I think it was definitely the best of the year.
Pay-per-view. It was exactly what they said it was going to be. When they said it was going to be a technical match with Bryan Danielson, it was a technical match. The main event earned. It was definitely a main event type match. Reminded me
even the pre-show matches, the Josh Barnett versus Claudio Castagnoli, that was incredible.
The only real complaint I guess I have here that we can go into deep depth on, Moxley on commentary, go away.
No, you didn't like it?
I
actually thought it was pretty good.
Go away, dude.
And you know I'm not a Moxley fan, but I thought it was pretty good.
Go away. I could so do without that.
So excellent show. Not everyone went away unscathed, though. Looks like Mark Davis of Aussie Open broke his wrist, which was very evident in the match.
Yeah.
How long is that? Is he out for how long on that
They
one?
haven't said yet,
Depends
but
on how bad.
yeah.
I mean, how long was it? Wasn't a wrist break, but how long was Danielson out? 3 months? 4 months?
And he came back early
Yeah, he came back really
to
early.
have this Zack Sabre match.
So, which you could tell they weren't babying it, but the fact that it was very technical and they were pitching it as a technical match, not a lot of top rope work, not a lot of high risk, not a lot of that.
Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
stuff.
that's the idea with technical. It's more groundwork than strikes and stuff.
Well, I'm just saying, like wrestling with the business. You know, the reality of, hey, I'm coming back a little bit early meets up with, okay, then we're not going to be doing any flying elbows or anything like that. You know?
Right. But probably the biggest headline of this past week, again, AEW related, Edge is all elite.
The rated R superstar.
So, who?
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
We predicted this a couple weeks ago. Producer Steve, this is where you put in the clip.
I'm glad that this came up because Dan and I had it out over Edge.
Yep.
And it's looking like Edge is going to sign with AEW.
Yeah, it does.
And that is wonderful.
Yeah.
I think you agree with me that this is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else he can do in WWE. He is wrapping up his career, but for him to go to AEW, which is still a new company, for him to impart some wisdom, some tips or whatever for the young guys over there, and just to have some dream matches that we never thought we'd get to see, that'd be great.
Jade Cargill release is kind of opening up some money.
Yeah, it is. And, if he wraps up his career with one last run with his old tag team partner Christian, then what the hell? Why not?
I have to imagine. I can't imagine a world because he was expressing some. All of his videos on X were pretty open, and he was very, pleasant and thankful and just really classy. Honestly, I think is the only way to put it in most of the videos. I have to imagine, though, if there was any nervousness, if there was any trepidation or hesitation on his part on going to AEW, Christian must have called him.
Yeah.
And said, look at what I'm doing here. This is awesome. You come look at Sting. Sting's
New
out
TNT
here.
champion, Christian, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I believe
Won it on Collision.
the only man to hold a championship in all four, right? ECW,
All 4 big companies. Yep.
Impact,
TNA.
WWE. Yeah.
Yep.
I think Samoa Joe's all but
ECW.
ECW. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, I have to imagine that. They have to get together. You put them in the same company, and they have to have. They have to have a match. It's just a crazy.
If not a tag run, a feud.
Yeah.
Something.
I think that's going to get the kind of response at AEW that Dan was talking about a CM Punk getting at WWE would. It's going to pop really quick. And he's not going to be wrestling every week either, so it'll be something they're going to use scantily, but a huge asset to the business.
Agreed. From our previous video where we predicted Edge working with Christian as soon as he got in.
Now, when we cut back, Dan has to be all bloodied and bruised from the reality. You argued against it. You thought it wouldn't make any sense for him to go to AEW.
I still do. I think it's ridiculous.
But you didn't watch the promo on Wednesday, so maybe I'll let you give him
No.
I
Watched it. I watched the most of it. I didn't watch the ending of it.
Okay, so what? You thought that was...
He walks down and he...
Yes, they
He
do
walked down
They
and-
walk down.
He walked down and he talked about how his stupid face on that he had and how he
talked about what?
He came down. He made a comment about how he had a
so
grin on his
blinded.
face. Like you always what did he say? He said you got that stupid face on you always have on or something. He mentioned something, didn't he?
Oh
Not?
yeah. He said you're
That's the one
you're-
takeaway.
Didn't he say something like your lips all pursed, looking more like a pussy than you usually do, or something?
Yeah,
like that?
more like a dick than he normally looks like, or
Yeah,
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. He said something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just.
Well, do you want to rant now, or you want
But
to?
his explanation, the explanation he gave, because that's what we were conversing about a month ago. or
What
whenever.
explanation did he give?
Oh my God! Then you didn't watch it,
No.
dude.
I didn't watch the end of it. No, I watched.
That was like halfway through.
I got
So-
too annoyed and I turned it off.
Oh boy.
He was basically like, he asked his kids, should I retire or not? And I believe it was Lyric, his oldest daughter, said,
God.
go with Uncle Jay and have fun.
Yep.
Which is exactly what we said.
Yep.
That phone
So
call to
the-
Lyric's really paying off.
Is he
So
really
the-
saying that's his excuse from going to AEW?
Well,
His kids told him to go do it. Come
Yeah.
on.
that's what he said. But the real answer is he wanted to do that. There was nothing more for him to do in WWE.
I get that. That I
He
get.
talked about dream matchups he's never had, like with Moxley, with Omega, with Miro. But then he ended the promo calling out Christian and saying, stop being a dick. Let's do one more run for the tag titles and, prove that we're the greatest of all time kind of deal. And
Christian spit him out.
Christian hugs him and says, go fuck yourself, and walks away.
So there you go. Actually, he even said that he was looking at the world title,
Oh, yeah.
which made me go, oh,
but see-
MJF
Yep.
and
All right,
Adam
let's
Copeland.
just go into the rant here for a minute. First off, we're not going to call him Edge. We're going to call him Adam Copeland. Okay, he's lost all rights to the name Edge.
He's still the rated
But
R superstar.
look, if you came and told me Edge wants to finish out his career doing a bit or storyline or segment with Christian, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. He got to go to AEW, do some kind of 2-month storyline with Christian, and retire. It's not going to end that way. He's going to do another 5 years at AEW, and it's nothing to do.
He's a full-time wrestler.
Him going to AEW
That's
has
5 years?
I
nothing
don't know
to
if it's
do
5
with
years.
Christian. And he's gonna start there. In fact, I'm surprised they started with Christian. I mean, it makes sense, but if anything, he should. If the story is really there, that it's, I want to finish my career with my best friend, my brother, my cousin, whatever you want to call him, Christian, then finish that storyline last. But they started with it. And he's not doing 2 months at AEW and leaving and retiring like he says he wants to
Run
do.
for a year and have him end it all.
No.
Yeah. they'll have some back and forth here and there.
3 years.
But
3 years.
The next year is going to be Christian building up to a face turn, and then he's going to save Edge from a beatdown, in 9 months or something.
And they'll team up.
The reality is,
because really there were like 2 or 3 different storylines that he mentioned in that promo. He talked about doing some other stuff with other people, but obviously he talked about going up against Christian, which is where they're going to start. And then he talked about tagging with him to take one last run at the title.
If anything,
there's really 3 storylines.
The thing that I have here, if anything, if I'm Christian, and I get that they're buddies, but I got to imagine I'm kind of a little pissed off. I mean, when you look at the two, Edge has always been far superior than Christian, right?
This is different, though.
No. Christian is always the guy coming out and giving the extra hand to Edge, and who's having the big wrestling match. Christian's always off to the side. It's always Edge, and then Christian. Okay, let's be honest. Solo career, Edge is far superior than Christian is. That shouldn't be debated.
In popularity?
And everything.
No.
Matches, popularity,
I don't think he's
accomplishment.
In WWE, yeah.
Okay,
It was
so-
the same thing with the Hardys. They always push Jeff,
Right.
but then outside, Matt was always the...
So now
more
let's
popular.
fast forward to now. Christian, can we not agree that Christian's this new persona of his is really taking off?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now Christian become finally maybe what Edge was in WWE. Christian's now starting to become in AEW, where he's now the top guy. He has the belt, not the top belt, but he has the belt. He has an image going. People hate him. He has a great heel thing going. And now comes Edge, who's got to jump in on the spotlight now and come out there. And now it's going to be no longer about Christian. It's going to be about Edge.
That's a really good storyline to build a feud.
I mean,
Right.
but no, on a personal note, I mean, you don't think that Christian's a little... I mean, I get his buddies in town now. He gets to work with his best friend.
Well, you tell me. I think that Christian is probably a better wrestler than Edge is.
Oh, yeah. That's 100%.
And he got that way by leaving WWE, going to
And-
Impact, and becoming a better wrestler.
And
to
you ask
perform.
any other wrestler, they'll tell you the same thing, that Jay was always the worker. Same with Matt and Jeff. Matt was always the worker. Jeff was the flashy one. Same thing
But
with
Edge always got the credit.
Well, which
I mean,
was why
Edge
it
always
made
got
sense.
got the big matches and the big
It made sense
contracts.
for Edge to
So
stay.
did Jeff Hardy.
But now this is a different world. This isn't WWE. This is an area where wrestling is valued. So I think that Edge can definitely stand toe-to-toe with Christian, but I don't think this is a situation where Christian's going to get outshined. Or anything like that.
I'm sorry, but I disagree. You can't Rather Edge can wrestle or not. Let me tell you something. If you could take Christian's contract for AEW and Edge's contract for AEW, here's what it looks like.
Maybe. I mean,
Edge
I don't
is
know.
way higher than Christian is right now on an AEW contract. They got signed for far more. And the reality is, Christian's finally taken off and doing something that probably I don't think when I look at Christian, I don't think I've ever seen Christian with a good solo act. And
You
think
didn't
he has
watch his TNA stuff.
What's that?
You didn't watch his TNA.
Yeah,
It was great.
But for the most part, what he's doing at AEW, I get he has a little bit of a faction with him, but finally Christian's starting to really take his own, and I don't think adding Edge is into that mix is the right move. They should have waited and done that later. Maybe have Edge go off and do something else, and let the storyline with Christian takes its course until it gets to the end. Then have Edge come out. But
Do you
there's
think
two problems here, in my opinion? It's that and the fact that Edge clearly is lying through his teeth about why he's at AEW.
On social media, Edge said this about WWE, that basically it boiled down to, I wanted to do more and they didn't have much more for me to do.
Which I agree with.
So
But I don't know what else they could have provided him.
It's either retire or go to AEW and do something new.
I mean, when I look at the WWE product, and that's the difference that we talk about when you look at the WWE product and the AEW product. I think the AEW product is a lot fresher. There's a lot more going on. I don't understand why it's not taking off. And then why it's not matching. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't, because WWE is stale. I'll be the first one to say I like WWE, but it's stale. It's not at all as exciting as AEW probably is going on.
Why do you think that is?
Again, the name recognition is a big part of it, and the casual fan, which is who's going to be watching these shows the majority of the time, they're going to go to something they know or they recognize over something new that, again, is different, is a different product, maybe fresher, but if they're not used to it, they're not going to watch it.
And the fact that, because I know we were talking about how, The Rock appeared, Cena appeared. Well, the writer's strike is over. So the fact that Cena is still there, maybe he signed some short-term
There's still an
agreement.
actor strike.
No, they're not acting.
There might have, no, they're not acting yet, but I think it's safe to say that they're making progress. If the writers are going to close out, I think it's pretty safe to assume the actors are going to close out soon.
I
as
bet you
well.
another 2 months, 3 months.
I mean, maybe he signed some kind of a deal that he's locked into for 20 appearances or something like that over the next 6
Right.
months or something. So he might be
Right.
locked in either way. But I think the fact that they're throwing as much bright, shiny stuff in front of the screen as they can right now. Meanwhile, the wrestling is garbage. Look at the card. We're going to talk about it soon, but the card for Fastlane, this isn't a B, this isn't a C.
card.
This is an F pay-per-view. This is a garbage pay-per-view, and some of it has to do with injuries. Rhea Ripley's not going to be able to be there. I don't know why we're not talking about Rhea Ripley on this particular episode, but we should.
I was gonna bring that up, but
But I guess what I'm trying to say is they clearly see AEW as a threat. I think name recognition, star power, star recognition, it takes years and years and years to build a brand and to build the type of infrastructure and support around the characters. You know, things that superstars in WWE take for granted now, like movie appearances and things like that, things that just come as part of being a superstar, don't come as easy. MJF is playing in some indie movie as a member of the Von Erich family, and that's like all the news on the independents are, oh, MJF's going to be in a movie. Well, he's the biggest superstar they have right now. He's the biggest homegrown superstar that they've got. And this is the first time in 4 years, he's been with the program since the beginning, that he's ever gotten a shot at it. So, you know, I think you're comparing apples and oranges, unfortunately. That'd be like saying, why isn't Impact competitive with AEW? Well, they're two very different things, you know?
Well, I mean, to sum it up here, Edge, Adam Copeland, going to AEW, horrible move, I think. I was disgusted with it.
And why?
Everyone involved. I mean,
You think it's bad for Edge?
do you really think he's going to get much more than what he got at WWE?
I think he's going to get what he wants, which is
I mean,
something
why
different.
not? Well, you know, the idea that he couldn't really do anything, he could have done a whole storyline with Roman Reigns.
I talked about creative control. Maybe
They could have put the world heavyweight belt on him for a little bit and did a storyline with it. They had a lot of stuff they could have done with Edge. So the fact that Edge didn't want to do it and then put this whole, I just want to wrestle Christian, my best friend.
No,
and then now he's
come
over. I
on.
mean, come on. I mean,
he already faced Roman Reigns, and
Are you
that's,
going to be
that's
this
done
way
and over
to
with.
everybody that moves to AEW?
no, I'm just
Yes.
saying I don't know. Look,
Are you gonna be this way?
Who's winning? Who's winning here?
AEW.
Yeah.
Really?
That-
Because they have too much of a traffic jam at the top of the mountain to know what's going on. I mean,
if you're talking about getting more views, more ratings, this is how you have to do it. You gotta
Okay,
get
lose
these.
CM Punk.
how
gotta
is
get-
Edge going to win in this
You
situation?
gotta get
He's
those.
not.
You gotta get those casual fans who watch only WWE something they recognize over here, so that they
I'll
can
give
go
you
and
that.
watch it.
AEW wins. How does
And
Edge win?
Edge wins, like he said. He gets to do something he wants to do instead of sitting at home collecting a retirement check. He's gonna have a match with Kenny Omega and with Bryan Danielson.
Let's be honest.
and
He doesn't have a Rock type future in front of him.
First off,
Right.
no. First off, WWE offered him a contract. It wasn't he had to retire.
They
okay?
offered him some pittance 1-year extension. It wasn't great. He would have been. He would have been.
I
doing
heard
what
he
Rey
was.
Mysterio's
I
doing
read
right
he
now
wasn't
at
going to
best.
accept
And
anything WWE. put
It
in
would
front
have
of
been
him.
a part-time contract too. He didn't want to do that.
He wanted to wrestle full time.
That's what he's doing at AEW.
Here's another interesting thing to know. AEW full-time, not the same as WWE full-time.
Right.
WWE full-time, you're traveling a heck of a lot more, way more internationally. You're traveling internationally to do dark matches that aren't even going to be on television. It's very
I like
different.
to fast forward to like 3-4 years from now, if we're still sitting at this table, and really say,
Much nicer table, hopefully.
and say, let's recap Edge's career at AEW. Was it successful? And I think the answer is going to be no. I don't think he's going to have what he
Okay.
thinks. Yeah, I don't think he's going to
Say
have a
now-
solid title run. He's not going to do anything.
Say now what the measurement is for how we determine whether it was a successful run in 3 to 4 years. What are the
You have to
metrics?
judge what Edge thinks he's getting by going there. He mentioned the world title run. Did he mention that?
He mentioned dream matches.
And he mentioned the world title.
Do you think?
He
Okay.
mentioned going after the
okay.
world. I don't think he said run. I think he said going after the world.
Okay,
title.
so ask the question right now. Do you think he gets the world title?
He gets a shot at it, or
No,
he
do
wins
you
it?
think he gets it?
No, I don't
No.
think he wins it.
Okay. How's that a success?
Why does?
Unless you win, there's no success.
How is this a success?
Come on, guys. I mean, look. At
If
this time,
that's
you
not-
mean to tell me those wrestlers walk in, those talent, those performers, whatever you want to call them, walk in there and you don't think they have the eyes on the gold? They all want the gold.
If you're MJF, yes, you want the gold. You are young. You are an up and comer. You're trying to make your way in the world. If you're over the mountain, if you're Edge, if you're Sting, you don't need another title. You've
He's
already
a
won them all.
10-time,
Stop.
11-time.
You're an
Sting
artist.
is one thing.
You're
Okay,
an artist.
Edge is another.
Edge is only like
Okay.
10 years, 12 years younger than Sting.
That's a big difference.
He's 51 or 52, I think.
Yeah, and Sting's 63, so 10 to 11 years.
Oh, a 63-year-old should not be getting the world title.
No, and it does
No,
not look very
Sting's
good.
definitely out of the picture. In fact,
But-
They gave Hogan the
If-
title when he was in his 50s, so.
Oh.
the
older
fact that
than
he
that.
was in the ring wrestling when I saw Edge come down or Adam
Ric
Copeland come
Flair.
down, I was just like, oh my god, that guy just got to get the hell out of here.
If
Sting.
all Edge
Move on
wants
out.
to do, if all Edge wants to do is just have some fun, train some new guys, help some new guys up through the business,
Work
then
with some
how,
guys he's never worked with before.
how is that not a success for him?
If he's making the same money or better.
I don't think it ends well. I think when Edge actually does retire, it'll be with WWE. That's my.
He's already in the Hall of Fame, and of course now AEW can say, they won't, but they could say,
Hall
nudge,
of
nudge,
Famer.
wink, wink, we have a WWE Hall of Famer, and you get 1, you get 2, you get 3,
Mm-hmm.
you get 4. Is a guy like Rey Mysterio going to go over there? No, he's a company man. He's not going
He
anywhere
was in the
else.
first All In.
Although that was different.
But we talked about this maybe a couple weeks ago that WWE has no one else to sign that makes a big deal. Maybe Kenny Omega. I mean, WWE doesn't have any CM Punk
Right,
return.
they signed Rey
WWE's
Mysterio.
had everybody. You know what I mean? So AEW has the benefit in their pocket, and I don't think they're capitalizing on it the way they should, but they have the benefit. They could draw anyone from WWE that's never been to their promotion before and go, oh, it's a big deal. WWE doesn't really have that. Where they can go sign Daniel Bryan
No,
again?
they're developing
They've
their
already
own
had him.
talent. They're
Right.
trying to create
Chris
their own
Jericho. They already had Chris Jericho. They don't want him.
They're trying to create their own superstars, right? Those guys are over the hill. Chris Jericho. I don't know why I didn't list him. He's a little bit more
But I
comparable
think
to Adam Copeland.
I think what AEW's got to watch for, and it doesn't happen to them, is impacted that years ago. TNA, when they were called TNA.
Did what?
They signed
Bring over
everybody.
WWE
They
guys.
signed all the old guys, and guess what? When they left or something happened, they fell off the cliff real quick. Remember they had Eric Bischoff running around and Hulk Hogan. They're trying to make it to WCW days. They had everyone signed there, and guess what? It got them ratings for a while. They did well for a little bit, and then it just fell off a cliff.
You're right. You're right in that. I would think and I would hope that Tony Khan has enough people around him
Yeah.
now to say, don't do this. Bring in the names and use them this way, not that way.
AEW's got to start making their own talent. Like
They
right now,
have
they're
been.
relying on the WWE old talent, the ones that made themselves in WWE.
No,
Okay, I'm
that's-
glad you brought that up because you need guys like Edge to put.
You
those
do,
guys
but you
over.
can't
Right.
rely on all of them all the time.
MJF,
you got to build your own.
MJF is not a WWE guy.
And
Kenny
Sammy,
They got
Omega.
put Sammy in the title picture.
And how
They
did
tried
MJF?
that.
I know.
How did MJF make his name? How did he make half his gimmick?
By saying he's going to go to WWE when his contract's up.
By going against CM Punk.
Oh.
He went against CM Punk. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing man he didn't exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
That whole devil concept came from his rivalry with CM Punk. You need the senior guys to put the
Now,
young
like people
guys
like
over.
Adam Cole, for an example, yeah, they could. That's the people they should. I mean, he's young. He did get a name a little bit in WWE, but he didn't establish his career at WWE. He can make a bigger career at AEW
And he
compared
will.
to WWE.
He will.
But
He's
like,
injured,
I
but-
just think they're signing and putting too many people in the picture that they need to be focused on building their own superstar from the bottom up. More of them. I know
Well,
they've done some, but
and
more of them.
Again, they've tried to do that with the 4 pillars.
Right.
And the only one that's worked out with that
Is
is
MJF.
MJF.
Oh yeah,
Jungle
and he-
Boy and
I
Sammy are both failures at this point.
You think Sammy's a failure?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You really do?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's good.
Now, as much as you like him, as much as my fiance likes him, the crowd hates him.
But that's good though, right?
But it's not getting him over. He's not like, MJF is a fantastic heel. People love to boo him. People
Right.
just boo Sammy because they don't want to see him.
Yeah, he's got go away heat.
Yeah.
He needs a reset. Give him 3 months.
Yeah, he needs to go away
be a
for a
dad
while.
for 3 months and come back and we'll try something new.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jungle Boy if he ever makes it back.
Yes, still suspended.
Yeah. So we'll do a reset on him too.
All right, so
Can we talk about one other thing before we get to the main topic?
good.
I want you to rant a little bit about the unsafe nature of certain superstars.
can't.
Why?
Because that Rhea Ripley wasn't injured by Nia Jax. It's not a
Really?
legit injury.
It's a work.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, so that whole article was
that
just
whole
a
article. The article was
Wow,
saying
Jeremy, you
Rhea
fell
was
for
not
that?
actually hurt.
work. Oh, I'm a mark. I'm
Yep.
marking out.
That's
right
why.
now.
That's why
you
it wasn't
fell
on the
for that
list to
one?
talk about.
So,
Yeah,
so the
it's-
complaints about her
so-
being unsafe aren't legitimate.
I mean, there are still legit complaints about Nia Jax being unsafe in the ring. There always has been. She has legitimately
There always
hurt
will be,
people.
I think.
I think it was last week I mentioned that. What's his name? Stevie Richards' video breaking down how that one move of hers was done unsafely. Rhea might have some nagging injuries, but they weren't caused by Nia this time.
So she's just not going to be on this totally empty pay-per-view because
You know,
she needs to
WWE has been keeping their pay-per-views short lately. I think they're going opposite AEW, which stacks their pay-per-views, and they're just keeping them to 5-6 matches. To keep
To
it
your
nice
point,
and short.
it's really the only way that some of their talent can get air. You have to give the younger guys the 0-hour matches to test them in front, and you can't really do that,
right.
on a Wednesday night or a Saturday night. So,
I'm sure there's going to be more to the Nia Jax story, but not for today. We'll save that rant for another time.
when she comes back and hurts somebody else.
Exactly. All right, so we mentioned it a few times. This Saturday is WWE Fastlane. The Divas title is on the line, so I hope you guys have thought through your picks. All 5 matches currently announced.
I can't believe it. So they're not doing a pre-show?
They don't do matches on pre-shows
you're
anymore.
right, they haven't. Yeah,
They've just been breaking down what's
yeah.
happening on the card. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start picking. First match is a straight-up tag match. The Bloodline, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa versus John Cena and LA Knight.
I want to hear Dan's pick first.
Is that what we're gonna do here? We're gonna make Dan go on the spot, so I can't.
We're all just going to pick the same as Matt, so that no matter what happens, Matt holds the title. No, because when I read through this card, that was the only match that I was like, I'm not sure who's going to win.
I'll tell you now. This
I
is
agree.
the deciding match. Let's do this one last.
Oh, skip it to the last?
Let's go.
Okay.
When looking at it, I really think that's the deciding match. Who's gonna have the Diva Championship or not? Do you know? I mean, who do you pick? I don't know. So I mean, are they really gonna push down Solo and Jimmy?
Is the last man standing match the main event? Supposed to be the main event?
They haven't said.
Because we need to pick our. Well, we'll just have to pick.
Oh, we can do this one first. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna
do
go
it
with John
first.
Cena, LA Knight.
Okay. I'm defending champion, so I go last.
Champion's advantage.
That's right.
The champion's advantage.
I mean, I think they just have a big storyline going with LA Knight and Cena team up. It's got a lot of work to have them team up just to have them both.
Cena hasn't won in a long time. They bring him back. They seem to bring him back to lose.
Yeah, he hasn't. There won in, I think it was last year. Was his last win or something like that?
Yeah.
I think he
Solo
wins and
Sikoa
it sets up a thing with Roman.
and Uso. Yeah, I can't see Sikoa taking the pin, but maybe Jimmy takes
I could
the
see.
pin.
Yeah, I
or
could see Jimmy or Cena taking the pin.
They do some kind of interference. I think Cena and LA Knight go over.
Making it that much harder for me, huh?
It's almost like you have to pick the opposite. You want to give
Well,
up,
only if you really think.
if you want to give up that title.
I mean, I don't see how.
Solo definitely is not going to take the pin. If they lose, Jimmy Uso will be getting pinned.
Could be some stupid disqualification. If they put LA Knight over, they can never seem to give him a good shine. If they really wanted to give him a good shine, they'd have him pin Solo Sikoa or submit Solo Sikoa or something like that.
Right.
But they're not going to do that. There'll be some kind of hidden nut shot. LA Knight's going to ride that. Is he heel? Is he not heel? Or do something to justify him cheating, like the MJF thing they did at WrestleDream.
Yeah, I don't think WWE thinks that hard about their storylines.
Ooh, shots fired.
Fuck it, I'm going with Bloodline.
Oh!
Yikes.
Well, now everything's off.
All right, World Heavyweight Championship, last man standing match: Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
This one's easy.
Nakamura, okay.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth Rollins.
Yep, me too.
Hang on. Do we want? Normally we do near
Tiebreaker.
falls, but this is a
That's-
last man standing match.
Yeah,
Should we guess like length of match, or
I wouldn't be surprised if the John Cena match is the main event. Honestly,
you think so?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Well,
think
then we
so.
need to pick a match to do near falls.
Let's do that at the end.
All right.
Women's Championship triple threat: Io Sky, defending champion, versus Charlotte Flair and Asuka.
This one's even easier.
If it's so easy, then what's the answer?
Sky.
Flair, you got it.
Are you picking Flair?
I think Io. Yeah, they're not going to give it to Charlotte or
No.
Asuka. Asuka just dropped it. I think Io.
Charlotte's had it too many times.
I think Io Sky's
I
gonna
don't
hang
think
on
they
to
can
it.
ever have it too many times with her.
You're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I'm doing Sky too. Tag
Plus-
Team Championship: Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso.
This is so fucking filler. Balor and Priest.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, they're not
I
going to
agree.
drop the championship to some cobbled together Jey Uso and Cody
I didn't think
Rhodes.
so too, but this could be a way of extending Cody's storyline for a little bit with the titles and building up. I don't know. This one I'm torn because they're Jey Uso getting a lot of praise right now.
And aren't they still doing the whole Judgment Day might be breaking up story?
This is how they do this shit with Cody Rhodes, though. They have him lose matches like this, where there's no real consequence to it, to make him look like he's not going to win the big matches. They used to do the same thing with Brock Lesnar back in the day. He'd lose some stupid tag team match due to some interference or something like that, and they'd be like, oh man, he got pinned by the person he's going to feud against. Like maybe they'll have him feud against Priest or something like that for the next 6 months, and Priest is going to be the one to pin him, so that's going to be the feud trigger or something like that. But I do not see them dropping the titles to some cobbled together Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso type faction.
Some stuff.
I don't see Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso being the next ZKO, which is what they would have to turn them into to win the belts.
And even ZKO has more history, makes more
Right,
sense as
they're
a
both
tag team.
Canadian. They both came up together. Yeah.
But everybody's picking Judgment Day?
Yeah, Judgment Day.
Okay. Last one, 6-man tag, LWO versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits.
LWO, Bobby Lashley.
LWO
You just
and
picked
Bobby
both.
just picked both
You
teams.
just picked both the teams.
I had him. I circled them all together. LWO.
Who is it? It's Ray and
I don't think so.
it's not Ray. Is Ray in the match or not?
I got to look it up. I'm not sure. I thought it was Santos and the other two guys, but maybe not.
Maybe they haven't announced it yet, and that's how they totally screw us up. Let's see.
You said LWO. I was leaning toward
Rey
Lashley and the
Mysterio,
Profits.
Santos Escobar, and either
Maybe this one.
Wild
decides.
or Del Toro. So Rey Mysterio and Escobar are both in it for sure.
That's so
You
weird.
don't know whether it's Joaquin Wild or Cruz Del Toro.
Joaquin.
With Zelina Vega, Joaquin.
Yeah. Jay silent.
Joaquin. Joaquin Wilde or Cruz Del Toro. And Bobby Lashley and the Street
Cruz Del
Profits.
Toro.
Street Profits heel turn isn't going too well.
Yeah, they've been losing, haven't they?
So you're still sticking to Latino World Order?
I'm not budging.
This
Pick
is
'em.
one where I wish I'd been watching more. I haven't
Pick
been
'em.
watching enough. I guess the safest pick is to say Latino World Order.
Do you want to be safe or do you want to be right?
I don't have to be faster than the bear. I just have to be faster than Dan. So, Rey Mysterio is my boy. Latino World Order.
All right. Well, I've got two picks different from you guys then.
So you're.
I'm
so
picking
wait,
Lashley and the
You're
Profits.
picking Bloodline in both instances. You're picking
No.
both Usos to win.
No. Bloodline and Lashley and the Profits.
Oh, I'm sorry.
just-
Yeah, I was looking at the wrong
Yeah.
card. So you think heel's gonna go over? Okay.
It could lead to Bobby Lashley going after Mysterio for the U.S. title. I don't know.
So what's our tiebreaker gonna be?
Let's do number of pinfalls in the triple threat women's match.
All right.
Number of near falls, sorry.
I think it's going to be a lot.
You say that every single pay-per-view.
I've been right like the last 2.
The last 2? You're almost on a hot streak.
Dude, we've only done like 3 or 4,
We're
okay?
doing a triple threat one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
12.
Oof.
He thinks there's going to be a lot, too.
Okay.
Do I think there's going to be more than 12? Man, 12 is a lot. You really put me in a corner. If you said 10, I would have said 12.
You wanted me to go first on all of them, so
13 seems like a lot.
you had to follow my lead.
So just as a reminder, this is Price is Right rules.
I wanna ask
Closest
a
without
question.
going over.
I want to ask a question because they do stupid crap like this all the time. Genuine question. If one of them attempts to pin the other 2,
Does that count as one
is
pin
that
or 2?
one near fall or is that 2 falls?
The near fall is how many times? How many
they
times?
smack
Yeah.
the mat?
The ref goes
13.
down. 13. Okay. I'm saying 7.
Matt tried to play a little trick there. Get us
Closest to
high.
without going over. There's one near pin, one near fall, and we all lose.
I'm guessing 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the 1.
$1. All right. So that's Fastlane. Hopefully we got a new Divas champion this weekend
Hopefully we don't.
because I want to see some changes on this belt.
You can do it, man.
I don't want to do it.
You don't have to
I'll take
stop
it
at
all.
one.
Away, I'll take all the fun away from you guys.
Stop at 1.
All right, so that's what we got for this week. Be sure to follow our social medias. Tune in to Falls Count Anywhere on Monday and a new episode of Ring the Bell on Tuesday next week. What's your guys' topic this week?
We had a nice, friendly, gentle conversation surrounding whether AEW was a success or a failure, whether they were overrated or underrated.
Is it ever really friendly?
It's friendly from my side.
It's me shouting and you shouting, and that's just what it is.
You watch and you be the judge.
As long as punches aren't thrown, that's friendly.
Fair enough.
All right, on that note, if you keep watching, we'll keep wrestling with business.